Hello, hello, and welcome to another edition of Business and Financial Raw Talk. I am LaWanna Bradford with the Bradford Group, as well as principal of the Bradford Group Consulting. And I am a financial analyst, a strategist, a mortgage broker in the commercial and investment realm. And I love everything business and finance. And this month is Financial Literacy Month. And sometimes we don't think about what our dollars connect to. And so, for those of you who are in business, entrepreneurs, just individuals out there with a cause, a passion, a message, and you're looking for visibility, did you know that there is a cost associated with visibility? There is. And we are going to dig deep into that today. I have my special guest here, none other than Dr. Tamara Patzer, also known as Tami. Tami, how's it going?
Great. It is a great topic. Financial literacy. Everyone needs to be financially literate.
Yes, yes. Well, before we get started, I want to tell our audience a little bit about who the amazing Dr. Tami Patzer is. Tami is a serial entrepreneur. She is obviously a doctor by degree. And I always like to emphasize that. And we're not minimizing those that have honorary doctorates, but there was some pain that went into those letters, right, Debbie? Tammy? And she is also a publisher, a social media expert strategist. She helps individuals become visible. She's had many years of experience in the mass media and social media industries. She has her company, which is a publishing company. She also has as I said, serial entrepreneur, Blue Ocean Authority, and she has a program called Get Massive Media Exposure. I need to slow it down. I'm so excited. And she is also a speaker, and it's very important to her in her years of education, application, career. All of this has culminated at this appointed time where she is on this platform and on this mission to really help people to not only to be seen and be heard, but we have to sometimes weigh that cost. What does that really mean to us? And before we dig a little bit deeper, I want to ask you, Tami, why do you think it's so important now for us to raise the bar when it comes to our visibility?
It's foundational. Visibility is foundational because you can't hide anymore. We live in this virtual world, real world situation. And in order to grow your business, you have to get out there, and it's more important now more than ever because there's so much noise. I guess that's the best way to describe it. There's just noise in everything we do. And if you're serious about your business, you need to not only be living in the real world, but you also have to be living in the virtual world.
I like what you said, that there is a lot of noise. And it's like, how do you become the loudest voice out there? There is a saying that I learned years ago, and it says, he who has a story to tell, or she, and goes and whispers in a well, is not as apt to get the dollar as he who climbs a tree and hollers. And so it's not only when we have that platform that we can vocalize, but actually being seen. And that's what you, and through your expertise, help individuals to strategically position, right? Because all platforms, all social media are not created equal. It may work well for you, right? Because that may be where your clients reside, but it may not work well for me.
That's a really good point. So what happens to most of us is we're told, be on social media, do this, do that. And for example, Instagram is a really good example. Facebook owns Instagram, and a lot of people use Instagram now. And I looked at my Instagram and I had to laugh because I started it probably in 2015 or so, and I had a photograph, like 5 posts. 3 of them were pictures of my teddy bear and something else, but I have not been active on Instagram. I use Facebook a lot because I've found that I get a lot of interaction with people on Facebook. Um, I do have a LinkedIn profile, but many people swear by LinkedIn, but I literally get spammed on LinkedIn with people that they're not ever asking me about my services. They're always trying to sell me something. Um, so the point on that is you want to be found, you want to be seen, you want to be heard, and you need to have a plan. And one of the things that I think is really important about that plan is you have to actually look at what you've already done, because most of us are like, it's like we're running this race of next, 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 and we leave behind all of the things we've done as if they don't count. I find it's that, what do they say? Fear of missing out. But the fact is that you're not going to miss out on anything if you just stop and evaluate where you are, and what is it of all the things that you can do is going to get you in front of your ideal clients. That's the issue I think I see is people are just, they call it what, throwing spaghetti up on the wall to see if it sticks.
Yes.
That's what a lot of people do. I did it. Shiny object syndrome. I did it. I've done it. I still do it. I see something and I'm one of those, you talk about being a serial entrepreneur. I love to learn, and there's so much to learn. TikTok, Snapchat, Periscope, I'm just, Twitter, all of these things. But again, is it really going to help you to dabble when, if maybe you chose 1 or 2 places to be, it would be better. That's why I love television and podcasts and radio and even magazines and press releases, is because you do them and then you can leverage them over and over again. And people, you don't have to keep going next, next, next. So, but people do.
Right. I think they do because, when you know better, you do better. And often people don't have a strategy. They don't have a plan. They're told you need to get out there. And they don't have experts around them to guide them. I find very often people are placed on different platforms. And if you ask them the basic question, tell me who your ideal client is, there's a hesitation, a deer in the headlights look. Well, if you don't know, so we're going back to cost again, this is Financial Literacy Month. If you don't know who your client is, what your key message is, what it is, what the pain point that you're solving, then any road will do. And that road may be a very costly road. So you may invest to be on someone's stage to speak. And I'll just use myself. I'm a mortgage broker. So I want to talk about mortgages. And I go and I speak to an audience of women, but they're all there to learn about tools to start your business. They're not interested in mortgages, but I'm just happy because I can say, yes, I was on X person stage. I spoke to 500 women. Okay, but what was my time investment, my money investment, and what did it yield me? So again, I want you to kind of dig into that. All exposure is not created equal, right, Tami?
You're right on target. For example, when I first started, I started with local Chamber of Commerce, SCORE, Goodwill, I don't know, Sea Grant. I even traveled across the country to talk to ideologists. And I'm not saying that any of those experiences were wrong or good learning experiences. But what I learned was, for example, audiologists, they don't like to spend money on marketing. They like to, they're partiers. I mean, and this is raw talk, right?
Right.
And so I spent a lot of time and money flying to go to these conferences and doing these knockdown, really wonderful presentations. And they got continuing education credit for it because because of my degrees, they got credit for me teaching them about social media, but I didn't get any clients. And I have found that oftentimes, exactly what you say, you could speak to a crowd of 500, 1,000, but if they're not your ideal audience, you're going to walk out and all you're going to have is experience and being able to say, oh, here I am on the stage, which that's valuable to you. So the cost of visibility, time, how much time do you have? How many years do you have before you have to say, uh-oh, I have to go get a job? Believe me, I quit my job in 2009. By 2015, I was like, something's got to give here, because I'd done 150 podcast episodes and maybe gotten 5 clients out of all those freebies. And I was like going, uh-oh, what am I going to do? And I literally screamed at God and said, you've got to give me something that I can make money doing. And that was how my Women Innovators Publishing happened, is I decided to turn my podcast into books. And that's how I ended up making money. And then I expanded on that. And then my background being in newspapers and TV and radio, I wasn't using that background. I was holding myself back. I wasn't allowing my genius to shine. And once I allowed myself to be who I am academically, I have the mass communications degrees. Business wise, I've worked in 20, 25 years in the media industry, and I wasn't telling anybody about, hey, I've got not only life experience of doing this work, but I also have the educational foundational background. So I understand how to mash all that old school media with what I call new media for a new media mash. And that is the becoming whoever you are with visibility and financial education. Many people that I find, I literally studied credit because I knew they had to go back to foundations and have money so they could pay me for my services, because so many people, oh, podcasts are free. Publicity is free. All of this is free. It's like nothing is free. You're either going to pay with time and energy. And for example, getting on TV. Yes, you can pitch a producer and you can get on a TV show at no cost. However, what's your cost? You have to learn how to pitch. You have to know what to pitch. You have to travel to a studio in Timbuktu. Now you can do Zooms, but there's a lot of cost in time. How many years do you have to perfect it? When if you work with someone who already knows, just like you with mortgages, I could go do all kinds of research with mortgages and take months or weeks and maybe find one and not really trust the person. Or I could go to you and you'd go, oh, I'm going to find you the best mortgage for your situation because I have 20 years of experience with this. That's what, like, visibility is the same thing. You can do it all yourself. You can write your own press releases. You can pitch your own radio shows, TV shows, podcast shows. You can do all this stuff yourself and learn it as you go, and you may become successful. But how many years do you have? Do you want your business to grow in 2022, or do you want to be like me, 2009 until 2015, going, um, this is the long road, uh, instead of the short road, that path we all take.
Right. Past the path of least resistance. And I'm going to pause right there because you've given some brilliant nuggets. And I like how you're challenging our audience. This is raw talk. To those that are listening, whatever it is that you're doing in your business, in your dreams, in your life, how much time do you have? And if you can partner with someone who's done all of the years of experience and education, because that's their passion, that's their wheelhouse, why not partner with them? Because I personally don't want to be a social media expert, but I know I need to have that in order to exist today as a business. So partnering with an individual who can help with that. I don't want to know all about mass media. So my company has a publicist, your company, and it makes my job easier. It allows me to do what I do well and trust my team. So often and I'm speaking to the women, we can get a little, what is it? Penny wise and pound foolish, so caught in managing the pennies that we miss the big dollars because our head is down instead of forward focused on our vision, because we know we have a team of experts doing their respective pieces to keep the ship moving. And so when we're talking about the cost of visibility, if you are trying to be everything, the social media expert, as you said, the person who's writing the copy, who's pitching, who's finding the places for you to speak. When are you working on your business? When are you engaging with your customers? And if you're not engaging with your customers or servicing them in any way, have you calculated how much money you're not making? How much are you leaving on the table because you're busy running in someone else's lane? I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about that, when we run in someone else's lane.
Well, that's really true. And again, I'm guilty. I did things, we get this idea, organic marketing. What does that mean? It means you're not buying paid advertisements. That can be very useful, but back into the state, going in your own lane is something, it is hard for many people, me included, because it's like, ooh, that's so interesting. Like I said, I learned all about credit and everything. And I go, oh, I could do credit repair, blah, blah, blah. But as I learned about credit and about how to grow credit, I started to realize, okay, now I understand. My clients, when they come to me and they go, oh, that's too expensive. It could be $97 and it could be too expensive for some people. And then other people, you say $15,000, thinking, wow, that's reasonable. It's all about what is going there. And then I follow all of these self-proclaimed PR specialists who say, I became a PR specialist all by myself. I invented this product, and then I got on TV, and you can do it too. And now what are they doing? They're teaching people how to do it themselves. My experience with people who want to do it themselves is that they're all excited in the beginning. So you say, okay, we're going to create something. For example, let's create our media one sheet, which is a one piece of paper with your photo on it and your bio and some pitch information that you can give to producers and podcast hosts and things like that. Out of 20 people I worked with, nobody finished it. I helped them. I helped them write it. I gave them the templates because they wanted to do it themselves. I even gave them, if you finish it, I'll put you on a podcast. Nobody, 20 people, zip, zero, zilch. And it hurt my feelings because I'm going, okay, you said you wanted to do it yourself, so I give it to you, and then you don't do it, and I feel bad because I could have done it for you. I could have like whipped those babies out and we could have had you on TV. We could have had you on podcasts. You could be, you know, doing your media blitz instead of going, well, I can't. I didn't get this. I don't have this piece of the puzzle. So when you say stay in your own lane, that's a good example. If you're not somebody who can whip out, you know, when I say whip out, like press releases, for example, there's a formula to it, and it takes time to learn the formula and the style, because if it's not written in the correct style, guess what happens? It gets kicked back saying, this is not in the proper style. You have to redo this. And it's often with personal pronouns, you know, the way it's written. And so it's like, okay, if somebody just would say, here, you know, fill out this form, and then I can write it, send it back, you proof it for, you know, make sure your name's spelled right type of things, and that I didn't change the context of something. Boom, 5 minutes, it's done, and then we're off to the next part of the game. And again, often people, they it's fun. I have to admit, PR is fun. Being on TV is fun. Interviews are fun for me, and I love to educate people. But if you are like you're a mortgage broker, business strategist person, or if you're a financial advisor or a credit repair specialist or whoever you are, yes, you want to share your expertise, and we can polish it up, and then you can use television, podcasts, press releases to your advantage to market you. So that'll take over that work. So you don't have to be constantly doing all the social media, because once you have a lot of pieces in place, you literally can automate it. That's just the secret sauce. And that was something that I fought against. Psychological, I don't know. You know, we fight against probably the things that are the best things for us. We fight it because it's different, or it's costs money. Automation costs money. And that is probably the biggest obstacle many people face with visibility, is they think everything should be free. There's a myth that the gurus put out that podcasts should not be paid for, being on TV shouldn't be paid for, press shouldn't be paid for, PR shouldn't be paid for. And the truth is, you can do it the hard way. And like I said earlier, you can pitch producers, you can figure out who the producers are, because sometimes they're not who you think they are. Like the anchor person reading the news or the host of the show is not who you pitch. They literally are the talent.
I want to say something right there, because you mentioned, first of all, the people who we think are the point of contact may not be.
Right.
But also, we have to be very clear and very strategic on the messaging, how we're packaging it. And that's where an expert can come in and help shape it, because you and what you do, you're looking at it from a very different lens. It's like when I'm helping someone with mortgages or helping someone with business strategy, I'm looking at it far removed from the emotions and the investment of energy that's there. And so I'm able to see things that perhaps that client can't see, and more often they don't. And you as well. So I may come at you with one idea, which I have, and you said, well, LaWanna, have you thought about spinning it this way? Well, no, I didn't. But when we take the time and we invest in having the right partners, having the right people on our team, even when you're talking about investing in the automation, yeah, there's an upfront cost. But again, this is from the financial standpoint. If you sit and do the total math, look at it holistically, there's an initial outlay. But then what is your hourly rate? What are you worth an hour? Now, how much time have you saved? Now, when you multiply that together and you're looking at the return on investment, how much did you actually really make? Because if you're able to buy back your time, I mean, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? That's why I don't do my own lawn care. I hire someone who does it very well. If I tried to do it myself, it would probably take me 4 times as long as it takes for him and his team to come in, do it perfect, and he's in and out. So how much sense does it make for me to do it myself when I can get an expert? And it's a very simple example, but sometimes I think we cripple ourselves as small businesses because we're trying to do it all.
I agree, because again, I've been in that situation where I was trying to do it all, and then I am I have all kinds of ideas. I'm just just a fountain of ideas, and um, it's it's one of those things where I'm sure a lot of people are like that. They're, this, and when you're creating your business and you're looking at your marketing, which is visibility, is a big part. And if if you look at it, and just like social media, there are automation tools for social media. There are people who specialize in social media. And what I've found with most people, and I don't do social media anymore, um, because not for other people, because what I always found was the people always, they wanted to take it back. Again, it's like they want to release it, but then they take it back, or they don't give it enough time to process, to even show results. Um, but again, the visibility, I think, is really important for people to, again, step back, analyze what they've already done, because most people have, unless they're brand new, they've probably done a couple podcast interviews. Maybe they have a blog, or they've attempted a blog. Maybe they've done some local speaking. I was amazed when I actually sat down once and um, counted how many speaking engagements that I had done over the course of a few years, and it was like more than 100. And most of those they were not paid speaking performances, but they did pay me, because when I'm in front of the right audience, guess what? You get clients from that. And that goes back to what you were talking about, is if you don't have those foundational things in place, like who is your ideal client, you have to know, because it's not everybody. We do know that. Anyway, you should know that it is not everybody. And you have to understand that media, podcasts, TV, press, it's not about a moment in time. And that's a myth where people think, oh my God, I'm going to be on TV. I'm going to be in front of a million people. They fantasize about Dr. Oz and Oprah. And I think those shows are going off the air anyway. But those were always like the places people wanted to be, or Today's Show, or Good Morning America, or CBS This Morning. They have these fantasies that that's going to make them famous overnight. And the truth is, even if you get on those big shows, the odds are that you can't really use it the way you think you can because they don't allow you to use those clips in public forums. But now local TV, you can. And it's all about, like, let's say you get an interview for 2 or 3 minutes on a TV show on a local station. And when I say local, I mean a station that is serving an area. Like Tampa would be considered a local station, but they have millions of potential viewers. It's not about your 3 minutes or your 5 minutes. It's about taking that interview and sharing it out on YouTube or on social media, and even the screenshots showing you on that TV set. And that helps you with that authority and credibility, and you can leverage it. I do that and I put them in press releases, and those videos, let's say it gets picked up by 500. Now you've got 500 little videos out there working for you, when before it was only one. So,
but you just said something that's so key. That's sort of the bridge, or the missing bridge. So here you are, and here's your message that you want to get to the world, and you want it to resonate. You want it to actually live a little longer than that one moment in time. But you don't know how to do it. You don't know. Right? You don't know. You don't have the strategy on how do I leverage it? How do I place it? How do I build relationships from it? Because sometimes it's not about the customer, but if you create a strategic partnership that can then introduce you to another world that you otherwise would not have been had the opportunity to interface with, that's when it becomes invaluable. I need to pause and show a couple of sponsorship clips, and we'll be right back. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Deborah L. Morrison is a TEDx speaker, best-selling author, and international motivational speaker. She's a recipient of the Marquis's Who's Who Women of Influence Award. A seasoned, life-centered certified financial planner and empowered retirement coach, she partners with people to maximize their return on life, not just their investments. Deborah has been featured on CNN, ABC, and MSG's Metro Money Television. She's also been quoted in the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, the New York Times, Business Week, Money Magazine, Ladies' Home Journal, Nations, Business, CNN, Money, Reader's Digest, Kiplinger's, and more. Deborah she teaches that it's possible to live in the moment and also save for the future. Known for her easy-to-understand speaking style, Deborah combines sage wisdom with refreshing humor.
Well, what I love about these sponsorship videos is they're very timely to this conversation.
Yeah.
Right? There's an example of Deborah Morrison, and what did you hear the narrator saying? All the places she has been speaking on. That adds to credibility. That's that third-party endorsement. And then you have this other, the Diamond Factor LLC, saying, "Hey, are you feeling overwhelmed? You don't know what to do. Are you trying to get exposure?" So let's talk about that, because that's real world. We think I can do it myself. And it seems fun because we're in that creative space.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what you're doing, oh my gosh, it can be so overwhelming.
It is overwhelming, because exactly that. You want that authority, that credibility, that reach, the celebrity status. And you're literally, again, it goes to that noise issue. There's all this noise of everybody going, do this, do this, do that. get in front of these people and everything. And then you get overwhelmed because you don't have a strategy. Most of us we're tactical, I guess is a good way to put it. We know all the tactics, but we don't know how to put together that strategic plan when we don't understand the leverage factors of the little teeny things. For example, I was just thinking about it earlier. I was on TV 4 years ago, and I was talking about spring cleaning your Facebook page, and that it's spring. It's still, Facebook's still around, and my tips are still valid. It was called How to Spring Clean Your Facebook with a Mop, MOPP, and it was stood for how to manage and optimize and, clean out your people's list and all this stuff. But I was just thinking, I look pretty much the same. I still wear, my style hasn't changed. That video, when I play it, people will think I had just been on TV. Because every year when I play it during the spring, everybody thinks I have just been on TV again. Because people, number one, only 5% of people, if you're lucky, see anything on your social media, and they don't remember it, if they did see it, because they see so much bombardment. But Deborah, and she's also the Celebrate You Woman of the Year 2021, so that's interesting. And then, of course, Barbara, co-founder of Celebrate You, also. But both of those examples, those are actually good case studies for visibility. And again, if you look at both of the cost, time, the travel, just the years of experience that we put into becoming whoever we are. And again, there's this, what I call, the fast track. It is like, okay, so if you're overwhelmed, talk to somebody who isn't overwhelmed by that. Like there's certain things that overwhelm me, like financial things. I mean, those are overwhelming to me, numbers. But you ask me about, media and social media. I'm like, oh yeah, all you do is da, 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 here is the things you do. And if I were to, every time I think about people and the mistakes they make, it's always about not leveraging what they have. And you said it earlier about the penny pinching, about how much is your time worth. And for many of us, like I remember evaluating some of the things I was doing in the early days when I became what I call self-employed. I literally, if I was lucky, was making $1 an hour, maybe, because I spent so much time producing things, and not, not spending money on that automation, not spending money on little things that would have accelerated my business. And
I want to interject here, and then I'm going to take myself down because I don't want our audience to miss your key message. But you said, you gave an example that you were only making about $1 an hour when you factor in the outlay in your time. Well, one of the things that I hear when I'm talking to women in their business and business strategy, they're like, yeah, I'm making X amount of dollars. I'm like, okay, that may have been what you brought in, but how much did you shell out as far as your expenses? And then how much time did it take you to earn whatever that dollar figure is? And whenever we go through that exercise, Tammy, they are more often than not surprised at how little they actually make. So ladies, listening audience, you have to know your numbers, How much are you worth? What is your hourly rate? Also, some people were like, I don't know what it is. Well, work with someone who can help you to calculate what your hourly rate should be. Are you hourly? Are you project based? Are you service based? How do you get paid? And then when you factor in your expenses and your time, then that tells you what your true income or earning power actually is. But without that, you're really shooting blind. And the one thing I want to say before I take myself down, and this is sort of my little pet peeve, is we hear everybody is, chasing, I want to be a six-figure earner. But then when I look at what the Department of Labor is saying or the Social Security Administration is saying, the average woman in the US, when she retires at the age of 62, only has actually less than $17,000 a year in retirement income. So again, this is raw talk. Ladies, if everybody around you is saying they're making the six-figure up, they're not. Again, it's 97% of women are in a state right now of concern about where they're going to be financially. 97. That's a high number. 3% are feeling pretty good that they're going to be okay, not only today, but for tomorrow. And then you have a large 50% are earning $60,000 and less. So again, I don't compare yourself with other people. Know where you want to go. Know what you need for today. Know what you need to sustain that for your future self. Do the math, especially when it comes to what you need to have that, to increase your visibility in a way that's going to be profitable for you, whether it's increasing your exposure, your income, and your income, influence, and impact. And with that, Tammy, I'm going to take myself down and give you the next 5 minutes to share with our audience anything that's on your heart, and also tell us about some of your services.
Okay, great. Wow. So what LaWanna was saying was really accurate, because many of us, that happened to me when I got my first Social Security statement. I was like, I'm going to have to be able to work when I'm in my 90s, because at that time it said I was going to get like $900 a month Social Security. And that's how I ended up getting a master's degree and then later a Ph.D. in mass communications, was because of that Social Security statement that kind of scared me. But what I want to say to you right now, and if we were talking, one-to-one, what I would ask you is, I would ask you, of course, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish with your visibility? Are you wanting to be a speaker? Are you wanting to be a coach? What is your core business on how you make an income? Because visibility can help you improve your influence, your impact, your income. Many of the people I work with are what I call, they have a big message and a big mission. And actually, one of my Women Innovators books actually was called that, Big Message, Big Mission. And what I've done, especially since COVID happened, is I've actually gone out and talked to producers and podcast hosts and Forbes contributors and different writers, and ask them, what is it that you're looking for? How can I work with you? I have clients who would like to be seen, what I think I would say found, seen, and heard. And so what I've created, I've been working really hard on this, is I've actually put together television tours, guaranteed TV tours, and I work with my clients where we come up with your pitches, we come up with your segments, and then, we can do it the do it yourself route where I say, okay, go pitch these people and see what happens, but I can't guarantee they're going to book you. Or I can pitch you and guarantee that you're going to be on these shows. So I literally now have what I call guaranteed TV, meaning that if you want to be on TV, I can guarantee that I can work with you to be on TV. That's one of my services. And we would look at, well, do you want just one little piece of authority, or is your goal that you would like to be on the Today Show or a big show? Well, you have to start local. Don't let anybody ever tell you, oh yeah, just go on the Today Show, because if you're not polished and ready to go and able to speak about whatever it is in 2 to 3 minutes very succinctly, you're not going to benefit from that. So right now I have those services, guaranteed TV. I also help book people on podcasts, and I guarantee that I come up with a pitch again. What do you want to talk about on your shows? We put together your different one sheets and your pitches, and then I go out and I find shows that match you, and we go from there. I also have just contracted with a person who will help me take, maybe you've been featured and have articles. They'll actually help me take your magazine articles and package those up so that you have your magazine articles. There's so many things that I can do with people. That's why I call it Blue Ocean Authority. That means that you're the only choice in the sea of all the possibilities. And it really depends on what you want to do. And press releases, there's a myth that press releases don't do anything for you. And again, that's old school press releases, where you used to send a press release to your local newspaper or radio station, and maybe you'd get a little 2-sentence blurb. Well, press releases today are really designed for what's called search engine optimization and for growing your online footprint and leveraging those podcast interviews, leveraging the TV, so that you actually have a program designed, a strategy where you take everything that you're doing and you leverage it over and over again. Like my example of my TV appearance that I'm going to be able to leverage because it's spring cleaning. That's kind of how television works. It's something for mass audiences, but what you're getting is third-person credibility. That's what you get from a business magazine. That's what you get from Forbes. I also, for Financial Literacy Month, I have actually been contacted by a Forbes contributor who's writing an article about financial literacy. And if you're someone that would like to be mentioned in a Forbes article talking about the importance of financial literacy, reach out to me and we'll see if you're a good fit. There's only 10 opportunities for the Forbes article. And of course, that's going to be closing very quickly because, Financial Literacy Month is only, happening this month. But that article will go out soon. So anyway, I just saw a note from Deborah Morrison saying that 30 seconds was a generous amount of time. And again, if you get 3 minutes on a TV show for an interview, that really gives you a nice clip to share and leverage with your clients. So again, reach out to me. It's the easiest way to do that is just send me an email. My name, Tamara Patzer, Tamara Patzer @gmail. You can friend me on Facebook or find me on LinkedIn. So thanks, LaWanna.
This has been so great. To our listening audience, you've listened to another episode of Business and Financial Raw Talk, where we have been talking about the cost, weighing the cost of visibility. It's really important we understand in order to be seen and be heard, we need to get out there. But I encourage you to surround yourself with the right team, leverage the experts who've already been out there, scouted, and know how to help you, as Deborah Morrison often says, navigate the waters, right? So that you can increase your influence, your impact, and your income. I 100% endorse Dr. Tamara Patzer. Why? Because she's she's a publicist for the Bradford Group. But I brought her on the show because she really has made a difference in the things that our business has been able to do, especially as we celebrated 15 years in business last year. And I really wanted to work on framing that message to celebrate the fact that as a mortgage company, not only did we survive the 2008 mortgage crisis, but we were surviving and thriving even during the pandemic. And we're about to do another shift, because what are we feeling right now? This uncertainty, rising rates. What's the economy going to do? Well, we have an idea of what we want to do as a business and the services we want to provide. But now I need the expert, Tami and her team, to help guide us in what's the best platforms for us to go. Please reach out to Tami. Doesn't hurt, doesn't cost anything to make a phone call, right?
And I actually do answer my messages, and I do talk to people, and I would be happy to talk to people, take 15 minutes, and we can cover a lot of ground in 15 minutes to know if you'd like to work with me.
Yes. Yes. Okay. My internet.
Are you still there? We're frozen.
Okay. All the way through before my internet just went wonky.
Well, we made it through the end of the show. Was that okay, LaWanna? Was that okay, LaWanna?
Yeah, that was good. It was my internet literally it stopped. And I'm like, okay. And then when it came on, then E360 is saying, and your time is up.
Yeah, you're blurry now too. So your signal must be. Well, I need to go. I have another interview at 7. So, oops, bye.